Zone 32 here. Get back on a comment I made to Killinger on one of his videos earlier. Here's one of the setups. I don't have one of the boxes together, unfortunately, Killinger, to show you, but after, like I said, certain time, I scrap them out or whatever, or they get beat up enough. But basically, here's one of the ideas or setups that I use. Maybe this will help you too. This is basically out of one of our Tractor Supply stores or parts store that we get stuff from. They got all their shipping pallets and stuff, like the base here. You might be able to do something even with that. It's a little lighter. You'd have to worry about your side braces and stuff. Like these ones here are the sides to that base, which Cub Cadet and a couple of the other Toros and a couple of other brands have started to switch into these collapsible steel ones to make less waste. But, excuse me. Basically what I do on one of my box setups, when I got time, I'll end up doing another video and show you how I build one or whatever. Basically all I got is reclaimed pallets. And I will, on the end here, stack to where I can screw a point here, here, and here, down through the base on that other pallet here, and then bring your side in on your other one, and then on that one, on the end, I'll usually cut in the where your forks go through. I'll cut a excuse me. I'll cut a piece of 2x4 and put it in there. And then that way when you screw your corners together, you got a good amount of, or you can even nail them. You got something as far as holding wood on the corners. And then what I'll do on my tops, you can do on your corners. Take a piece like that, cut it, and then do your four corners, and then I'll leave my ends open instead of having to bend over. I guess you could take a piece if you wanted and cut a pallet in half, but I'll leave my ends open. That way I ain't got to bend over, have the belly get in the way and all that, or worry about getting my shirt caught on something, or, well, wintertime you're going to have your coat or whatever. And you can, if you build them strong enough, you can double stack these. And you can hear one of the girls in the background. Another thing that I done, and these ones are very rare that I come across anymore. I got tires and stuff in here right now. This one is an old glass storage rack that I got from the recycle yard. And basically what I did was just basically took some old fencing or pipe, and I made a back rack on it, just welded it in there. I've done that. Try to reclaim stuff instead of having it go to landfill, or once in a while, if you watch your scrap yards, that's another thing, Killinger, to maybe check out some of your local scrap yards. As far as them totes or whatever, they just basically got to pay for the weight instead of having the markup. But these are the other containers I was talking about, and these ones got racked. I didn't get up there in time to get them out of the way. When the employees got to move stuff and they stack it over by where all the wood is. But it's going to vary from place to place, unfortunately. But a lot of the parts suppliers will give you these, because if they get enough of them, they either got to pay an employee to tear them down and throw them in their dumpster, which is going to make dumpster expense cost, or they got to haul it away to a recycle place that grinds them up and they'll turn it into mulch, certain ones, depending on what they're made out of. So a lot of times, instead of charging you something, or even if they do, maybe you can get it at a decent price. But anyways, what I do on this one here And this one's going to get used for something else here. That's another future video I'm going to share with you guys. Anyways, this container here, what you can do is, and I've done, you can figure different setups, but you can see how thin this top is, and well, like that one gives. I usually leave these metal bands on here, and then what I'll do is I'll go through so these don't rack when you move them and you get the weight in them. I'll take a 2x4, put it across here, and then I'll box this whole top in. Oh, sounds like a neighbor's taking a tree down. But anyways, I'll box that whole top in. And the reason I do that is to, with your fork thickness, I'll turn around, and if you get enough of these, same size, or even like the smaller one behind me here, which I'll zoom back around to, the smaller one here. Basically, once you got that top frame, that'll help support this, or you can even go, if you wanted to, and if you didn't want to put that top frame, go from your corner to your center, or from the whole thing across, and put a couple supports on the outside so it don't rack sideways on you. But anyways, what I do is I'll turn around and take some 2x4s or 4x4 pieces, depending on how thick your forks are, and I'll lay them across in between my fork spaces, and then stack these two high. I've gone 3 for storage purposes. Yes, if you get them real thick with wood and everything, and you got kids around and that, I wouldn't recommend it. I would probably stick with 2. But anyways, this is another setup. Actually, yeah, I do got a couple of them ones that you showed, Killinger, in your video. Some of these ones here. What I found on them too is these, you can see these ones are shorter Killinger. What I found on these are, when you cut them, you got a square edge now. If somebody is going to use these, what I would recommend when you cut them open, to take and smash the end over on them so you don't catch your coat. Like, try to get where it's riveted over. You can see it all. See that kind of that gap right there. But anyways, that's like a catch point. What I would do on them is I would smack the ends over on them, so when you're leaning in, if you want to have that front base, or I would just take like a piece of wood if you're going to do that, and say you're going to cut this down here, and you're going to have this square open right here, these ones. Taking, if you didn't want to have to buy something, or even if you did, take a piece of 2x4 and make like a frame around that. Or what I've done, I've just cut all the way down to that bottom. That way too, bending over time, that you don't have to worry about cutting your coat or getting greasy like you stated on that one. I mean, you're gonna grease, it's gonna get on everything, but and the other thing that I found over time on some of these, you may end up wanting to take and put some side braces on them. Firewood's pretty tough after time, and then banging into them with the tractors and loaders, it'll rack them, and then they'll get bent, and then eventually you either keep messing with them or repairing them, or you can actually, I'll even show you another thing. You can keep repairing them or whatever, and replace, get them replaced or mess with them. Another thing is, right here. Sorry about the sun off. Right here. Fuel barrel. This was a kerosene one. Person ended up switched their furnace over. You can take these, take some depending on how thick your forks are or whatever. You got a welder. I'm gonna actually do some of these. I'll show you too. Cut that in half. Go around. Figure your fork spacing out down underneath here. Taking say just throw a size in there, 2x6 piece of square stock, and you want to run your forks into it, or whatever your forks are, if you want to be that technical or whatever, or you want to have some more bracing, because over time this stuff will bend too. But basically weld that there. You can go crazy if you want. I would just spot weld it in a couple spots, you know, run a couple stitches on one side, another one, go in the middle, go on your ends. Run your forks in. You can either split this down the middle, like I said. You can use that to move your firewood around and storage if you want, or containers, like when you're working on something with the wood splitter, instead of having to bend over. You got your machine right there. If you got another setup for your gas loader or whatever, splitter, I mean, not loader, sorry about that. But the other thing you can do, I got one other one up there on one of the other videos I think I'm going to post. I need to get out of the sun. You guys don't need to see that glare. I'm going to do another one is for my outdoor boiler, so I ain't got to keep stacking stuff. I'm going to cut the end of one of these open, run some steel down here, so I got some feet on it, and I basically got, let's see if I can get up here. Oh, that thing's probably, I don't know, 6 foot long maybe, and I don't know, about 4 foot high. I'm gonna cut that end open. I'm not gonna cut both ends. I'm just gonna cut the one, and then run some scrap steel. I don't even know in this mess here. This is a cleanup job too. You could probably call me a hoarder or whatever. I was brought up to as a farmer. Anymore now it's homesteader, but farmer. You learn back in the day, like when my grandfather was around in war times, to keep stuff and reuse it and make stuff out of stuff. Plus my grandfather was a welder and made a lot of nice stuff. So I'm kind of the same way. Bad habit, I guess, if you want to call it. But anyways, getting away from them boxes. Killinger, this is a couple things I do, so hopefully this video will give you some ideas and maybe be able to save yourself some money. So I appreciate y'all. I hope you all have a good day.